add in fractions with the same denominator. So we're going to go 3/5 and 4/5. So classic misconception always first is that it is 7/10. Interesting, because 7/10 sounds a bit less than one of these. So it is an interesting misconception that can only be produced by abstract only. Someone has not been using their fraction wall, or their fraction circles, or their fraction stacker, or their number line work quite enough. So let's get into it. Well, let's grab our 3/5 first. The first addend, 3/5. And then next to it, we'll put our 4/5. We can always put a little lid there just to make sure we don't get confused about how many fifths we're collecting, because it's a lot of the same type of piece. So you'll notice for my fraction walls, I try to make at least 2 holes, sometimes 3 holes worth of pieces. It helps if some go missing, that way you have spares, but also if you go over a hole, it helps as well. So it looks quite big, what we're gonna end up with here. It looks like more than 1 hole. Let's get this lid off now, because we know we've got the right amount. Now let's estimate. So we'll just move these along, and we can pretty much see the answer, unfortunately. But it looks like about 1.5 if we were estimating. So we're thinking roughly 1.5, or we're thinking maybe more than 1, less than 1 3/4. It doesn't really look like much. You know, it doesn't look like a huge amount more than a whole, like 3/4 more, definitely not. It looks around the 1.5 mark, or a bit less. We could also bring out the half and check that actually. To go, oh, it's a bit less than 1.5, but it's close to it. All right, and now we can pretty much figure it out, because we can see it is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, 6/5, 7/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7/5. So it is 7/5. We have 7 of the fifths, is a nice way to say it, 7/5 sized parts. But we can also just overlap this hole with the 5/5. And if we have a good understanding of equivalence to 1 whole, we should trust that 5/5 are 1 whole, or we definitely shouldn't be doing this work in the first place. And then, therefore, it is 1 whole and 2/5 extra, which matches our estimate pretty closely, because we thought about 1.5, less than 1 3/4, more than 1 whole. And we got there 1 2/5, which is pretty expected in terms of our estimate. And it sounds like it's a good conversion, as in 5/5 and 2/5 makes 1 whole and 2/5, which can then be written like that as a mixed number.